Better Together podcast.
Welcome to the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce. We're recording today from the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab. The Better Together podcast highlights local businesses each week as the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce continues to promote an amazing business community. I am Marty Woodward from Rescued Wood Rehab. I'm joined by my amazing co-host Brad Marshall from Greater Culture CrossFit here in Fuquay Varina.
Thank you, Marty, and welcome to the Better Together podcast. Really excited because today we are joined by Beth, who is the owner of the Wingin It here in Fuquay, and Delray, who's a co-owner of the Wingin It down in Angier. So we're excited to learn a little bit more about those businesses and how they support the community. And so both of you, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
As a frequent guest at Wingin It and taking in the trivia, it's a favorite place of ours to go and take in. But I'm really curious. I always like to hear from folks. What got you into wanting to start a business such as Wingin It?
Well, Mike and I, back in 2016, I guess it was, driving through town one evening, we had tried to go to a couple places to eat. There were lines everywhere. And he said, you know, if we could open a restaurant in this town, I think we could make a killing. And, I mean, there is no shortage of people here in town, because people ask us all the time, you know, oh, there's a new restaurant opening. Are you worried? No, there's 50,000 people in this community now. So we could use plenty more restaurants, but we talked about it, and then we found a restaurant that happened to be up for sale. We signed the non-disclosure to learn about it, and it went under contract that day. It was actually Cooley's, which doesn't exist here in town anymore. And then we happened to go to trivia every Thursday night, and we were sharing with the owners over at Wingin It that we had wanted to buy a restaurant. And about a week later, we got a telephone call and said, were you really serious? We said, yeah, we're really serious. And we wound up sitting down with them, and within about 2 weeks, verbally had agreed to purchase the business.
And so how long ago did that happen for the Fuquay Varina location?
That was in late 2016. We took over Wingin It March 1st of 2017.
Yeah, and then Delray, now with the Angier location, talk to us a little bit about that, because that one is a little bit newer, about a year now.
Yeah, it is newer. Yeah, we decided, I guess Mike and Beth approached me, I guess, a little over 2 years,
2 years ago.
2 years ago now, yeah. And, talked about the opportunity and the potential of opening a second location in Angier. I thought it was a great idea. I think we have a lot to offer in Angier, but it all started from years and years back. I actually was a bartender for them in Fuquay while I was after I just got out of the military, and I was an undergrad at NC State. I was just in the restaurant working my shifts, sometimes pick up a server shift, but mostly was bartending. And, years go by, and, it was like 5.5 years. It's a long time, yeah. And then we went our separate ways. I graduated, we did our things, and then Mike and Beth approached me, and said, this is an opportunity, and if I was interested, jump on board and kind of help quarterback the thing out in Angier. And, 2 years later, here we are, and we're moving.
Yeah, I love the connections and the community aspect here of just going and frequenting a place and just throwing it out there of if you're interested or you have an interest in potentially buying the space, and then staying connected with people. So I love that. It makes me think of there's a sitcom called How I Met Your Mother, and most guys, one of the most common phrases they say to each other is, we should start a bar. We should open a bar.
It always sounds like a great idea,
That's
right?
A great idea,
yeah,
right?
especially after a cocktail or two. Sure.
Yeah, right. And so the fact that you actually did it, I imagine once you got into the ownership position, there's probably some challenges along the way. It wasn't just all sunshine and rainbow. So talk to us a little bit about that. So you take over the space, and then even down in Angier now, a year in, I'm sure there's some challenges you faced along the way. What were some of the things you learned as owners taking over Wingin It?
In Angier, I'll say some of the things, you don't know what you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was going into it, and I'm the rookie. I'm brand new. Mike and Beth have already done it to a certain extent one time. One of the things I found that was challenging is the amount of moving pieces that go into getting everything going before you even have the opportunity to serve your first customer. I think the restaurant industry specifically, you don't, like I say, you don't know until you know, but how synergistic it is and how much you depend and rely on third-party vendors, distributors, municipalities, inspectors. So, like, just how many things you have to juggle and get going just to be able to say, hey, now, our wings are here and, here's something to drink to go with it. That was something that was challenging me and very educational for me in the early onset, in
Yeah.
Angier specifically.
Yeah, and I would say something that I learned from Delray, we sat down and had lunch recently, and I took for granted that in Fuquay it was already an established business. In Angier, it was a brand new business. And so, for all the reasons he just said, it was a learning experience, more so for Mike than me because Mike was like in it every day. But that's been a pretty incredible learning experience. And then when we bought the business in 2017 originally, I was so eager, like, get in there. I wanted to add all the things to the menu. Oh, come on. It's our restaurant now. Come on, let's put this on the menu, put this on the menu. And I got shut down pretty quickly. And I wound up with two things on the menu. The pimento cheese I got added to the menu, and tater tots I got added to the menu. But what I didn't realize in the restaurant industry, our kitchen is not enormous. And so things in the kitchen have to serve multiple purposes for it to be cost effective for you, because you can't buy rye bread if the only sandwich you're going to have is a Reuben, right? So that use the rye bread. And it's pretty humbling sometimes whenever you sit back and look and think, oh, gosh, this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think that ability to balance all of those factors of like, okay, what are the customers demanding? What can we provide at an efficient timeline? What are the budgets look like? How do we connect with folks in the community? So all of those things certainly lead into it. And I imagine, having been open for a number of years now, there is some challenges you've been able to overcome and problems you're still solving to this day. And as you look at the landscape around Fuquay and around Angier, I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities and places to go grab a bite to eat or maybe have some fun or take in a game. If you could think about what are some of the unique things about Wingin It, of maybe why folks should come and check out your place or what makes you guys different than others, what are some of the things that you either hang your hat on or you're pretty proud of in your restaurants?
I would say the first thing is we of course, we expanded the Fuquay location. So we've got some unique spaces in there. We've got a room in the back we can close off and, people can sit back there and have a little private party. But we've got the kind of the sidebar now that we expanded on as well. And you can close that off and there's golden teas in there, and we have audio visual capabilities. And so people host events and stuff in there, which is pretty cool. And the other thing I'll say we're doing, we have a kitchen manager now. His name is Eddie, and he is really open to creativity and innovation in our kitchen. And so we have unique things on the menu now that are not on the written menu, but you can go in and ask about them. And so right now we have empanadas on the menu, and they are amazing.
Well, I'm glad you're telling us about the secret menu because I'm going to have to check that
The
out now.
secret menu is always the menu you want. Yeah, it goes along with, hey, let's open a bar, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, in Angier, I mean, same brand to a certain extent, but there are some unique things that are unique to Angier itself. I guess secret menu, the way you say it, yeah, we got one developing in Angier as well. Javier, one of our chefs in the kitchen, came up with a po' boy sandwich that's a shrimp po' boy. It's out of this world, and I love it. So we added to our brunch menu, which is what I was alluding to. Like, we have a couple of new items, breakfast sandwiches and brunch burgers and stuff that we're offering in Angier. But I think some of the unique things, I wouldn't say is unique in Angier. I just think that we're trying to lean into the fact that we want to be a part of the town out there. What I tell a lot of people, and what I tell people when they come in, we have a conversation with customers, or even if I'm interviewing someone for a position, one of the visions that I have out in Angier is I don't want us to be a restaurant in a town. I want us to be synonymous with the town. I want people to think about Angier, North Carolina, like, oh, that's where Wingin It is. I know Wingin It is in Angier. So I kind of want people to feel comfortable, not only having their family and friends come into town and visit, and their kids to come in there and feel comfortable, but also I want them to feel comfortable having their high schoolers and their kids working there. So I think one of the things that we want to lean to is make sure that we are actually integrated into the town and part of the whole community there. So
So the two of you have talked about some of the products and services that you offer out of both locations, Fuquay and Angier. What are some of those? Kind of go down the list. There's a lot of other services that you provide in both locations. Share with us on some of those.
So, we, much like Fuquay and Andrew, we have, of course, we offer trivia nights on Tuesday nights, and then we offer music bingo on Wednesday nights. One of the things that I think that we have in Angier is our outside seating. Our outside seating affords us the opportunity to kind of have a large space, a large area where people can have, 20, 25, 30 group parties come and hang out and feel comfortable and not be squished and have good service and good visibility and enjoy the great air and great weather. So that's one of the services I think that we provide in Angier is just a large gathering place and a quality food, consistent product, great service, friendly environment. Our drinks and our beverages, they change on our menu, regularly, offering new things here and there. Like I was alluding to earlier, we have new sandwiches, and we're trying to be very active with our menu. I think what I've learned is that people in the restaurant industry, through my personal research, some people get married to their ideas and their concepts, and they get, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to serve, and you're going to like it, and you're going to take it. And I think you can do yourself a disservice and your business a disservice if you don't listen to your community and offer, hey, this is maybe something that they would like out here. And it's not necessarily going to be the same thing as Fuquay, even though it's right down the road. So being flexible, that's I think one of the things we take pride in.
Sure, Beth. You guys also do some catering kind of things and different things in the community. What are some of those where I can go get a ton of wings, or give us some descriptive ideas about some of those other services that you guys do that maybe somebody wouldn't expect.
We obviously we serve wings, a lot of wings. There are, I talked about the space that we have there in Fuquay, off to the side there, and there are groups actually that formed, as a result of their relationships here at the chamber.
You do some meetings there, actually. Yeah, absolutely.
They do. So once a month there's a group that meets there like solely for the purpose of networking. And because we have the audio visual capabilities in there, you can come in, you can connect a laptop, you can project a presentation, use our overhead speaker system. And so I think that makes it a little unique in that we have that space that people can use, specifically for that purpose. And so that networking group is growing, and it's really fun to see. And it's nice to have that partnership with other businesses here and other business owners here in the community.
And you've actually offered live music, and are you doing that in Angier as well?
Yeah. So we started doing the live music thing, and we started doing the live music thing kind of 2 months ago, just to see it, feel it out, and see it. Real quick before I dive into that a little bit more, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we also have a women's group that meets on Tuesday mornings in Angier. So we got reached out to and said, they needed a space to meet, and so every Tuesday morning, a women's business group comes in and they sit down, they have conversations, and they just use our dining room space before we open, and it's been great. It's been a great relationship. So I want to make sure I do that out there and give them some kind of credit as well, because we appreciate them using our space. But as far as live music, we just started doing it. I don't think we're going to do it too regularly, as much as like every week. I think we want to offer the opportunity to have it, make it sort of like a monthly thing. But we're excited about it. We've had a couple bands reach out to us, and we've had a couple of other duets and performers who show interest. So we're excited to explore that.
Yeah, that's one of those things that helps kind of add that entertainment value into your meal experience. So the whole business started on the fact that you were hungry, right? It kind of sounds like it, but what are some other things that kind of set you apart from maybe some of the competition? Why would I want to go to Wingin It to get dinner or lunch versus going someplace else? What's something different that you guys offer?
I am probably biased, but we have, in my opinion, the best team in town. And so if for nothing else, come for the people, because they are going to take incredible care of you. What Cheryl and Molly have done in Fuquay we are so incredibly proud of, and the team rallies behind them because they're just really good people. And so we have great staff. So, like I said, if for nothing else, come see them. And then our wings, we make all our own wing sauces. And now I talked about Eddie in the kitchen being very innovative and creative, and he is constantly experimenting with new sauces. Sometimes if you happen to come in and you ask about, you guys working on anything in there, you might be able to try a new wing sauce.
Yeah.
More secret menu
I know,
stuff.
more secret
Yeah,
menu
yeah,
stuff.
this
I
is
like
great. I agree. We're gearing up for lunch, Brad.
Yeah, and I guess we're very similar to Fuquay, obviously, but I think some of the things that we offer, I think we're really excited about, like Beth was explaining earlier, our staff, and like I would have to mention Carly and Emily as well, my managers. They're fantastic, and I think one of the things that we want to make sure stands out, maybe it's not necessarily unique, but we kind of want to be the best at it, and it's just our environment and our people and just the space and where you can come in and relax. Either you want to watch a sports game. We have 16 screens inside of our location in Angier. One of them is a 99-inch projection screen that's in our dining room, our main dining space. I think just the angle, you can watch every game. We're going to offer the football package, obviously, this year, so you can watch every game as it's played. Our menu is flexible, so I think one of the things that we offer ourselves is kind of be moldable and movable with the community and the town. I think we take pride in being efficient, being accurate, consistent, and just overall just having fun with everyone and enjoying people coming in and knowing our names, and we're knowing their names and asking them, how was that vacation you took last week? I heard your son just graduated from school. How was that? Just developing those relationships. I think that's something that just comes organically to our organization.
Yeah, so that competitive advantage becomes just building those relationships with your customers and building a great team, right? That's fantastic. It's great to hear, and we hear that repeatedly from other businesses that are seeing success. Is that competitive advantage is the people that you have on the team. What are some other things that you that Wingin It engages in terms of community relations? Other special initiatives, programs, maybe you sponsor? Share with us some of those things.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that hits near and dear to me in Angier, because I actually, like I said, I can't drive the point home enough. Like, we just want to dig our little claws into Angier, just be a part of it, grow with it. So one of the things that we've been building and developing over time is our relationship with Campbell University, which is out in Weiss Creek, and I think the relationship with that has been growing, and we've had students and people driving from campus all the way to Wingin It and Angier, and that's been a growing population. And we've been working with their basketball program, talks with their baseball program, their softball program, their football program. I think we want to be an integral part of that school, and as far as what we can offer their student body as well as their athletic department. And that's kind of something that we've been leaning into as far as developing a substantial and long-lasting relationship with Campbell University. And of course, the local high schools in the area as well. Like, we actually want to be able to provide food on Friday nights after the football game, and I think that's great for us to be there right on time to be able to provide that for them.
Yeah, I feel like there's one thing we know: student athletes, they can eat.
There's no question about
you're
that.
You're gonna want to help feed those folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've done the same here, Willow Spring and Fuquay Varina High School, because now, we have a couple high schools here, which is unbelievable. Just is another testament to the growth of this area. But we're really proud of our partnership with Military Missions in Action. So they have a golf tournament every year called Tee Off for the Troops that we are actively sponsoring and participate in every year. Being veterans, that hits right here.
Always,
so
yeah.
It's pretty important. And then the Fuquay Varina Police Department, they do a big drive every year for Special Olympics. So we're very involved in that as well. In fact, we've got some folks who are going to scale I don't remember which bank building it is downtown. as part of that.
Yes, Corporal Look talked you into that, or talked them into that.
Yeah,
Yes.
talk to them. Did not talk me into
He's
that.
famous for that here in
He
Fuquay.
is
Hey, let's go
famous.
jump off a building.
Yeah. Or let's go pull an airplane.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. We are proud members of the Angier Chamber of Commerce and the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce, and sponsor events here. We're all golfers too, so we make sure we're sponsoring the chamber golf tournament every
I
year.
claim to be a golfer. I claim to be. I have golf clubs. I understand the general rules.
Ball's supposed to go that
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
so we're really proud of all of that.
That's awesome. And Beth, I'll jump in here ahead of Brad for a second, but you're also very, very involved with the Chamber of Commerce, as serving as the chair of the board of directors
Yes.
here. So thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
very heavy involvement in the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, and I know I can certainly speak to some of the community involvement as well. You know, over at the gym, we ran a fitness event, and Wingin It was a sponsor for our event earlier this spring. So we're really grateful for the partnership there and getting a chance to share with the community and different members, different outlets for them to get some food. And you all have highlighted some of the great things that you've experienced and things that you've done over the last 7 years. And so, is there one or two big things that you'd say are like the lessons learned that you're like, you know what, if I would have known this maybe a little bit sooner, maybe things would have been even better? But is there anything that comes to mind for you all of those top sort of lessons learned along the way here?
Don't waste your energy on things you can't control, right? Focus on the ones that you can and get them right. Be really good at them. That is the first thing, because that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. And then I would say you cannot promote your business enough, because we encounter still people on a daily basis, you know, who I'll be wearing my name tag at a chamber event and it says Wingin' It underneath my name. And, oh, can you tell me a little bit about Wingin' It? Sure, I'll tell you about it. Where is that? And, you know, you'd think, you know, we take for granted, you know, we've been in the community so long, and it was an established business in Fuquay before we even bought it. So we thought, well, gosh, everybody knows Wingin' It. No, they really don't. So never stop talking about your business. Get out there, get in the community, you know, and keep telling people about it.
Yeah, and I love that. And something that comes to mind there when you talk about this controlling the controllables, you can get really spun up and get really worked up and frustrated just spending a lot of time on that versus like, okay, what can we actually do and what are the next steps to help me get there? So I think that's a really powerful lesson there.
Yeah, I think along the same lines for me personally in Angier, I've learned is, first of all, I used to claim myself as a taskmaster. Put down the bullets, knock them out, move out. I've learned in Angier, like, you gotta temper your expectations. A little bit of flexibility. That's definitely something I've learned. I like to get things done, and I'm very, very direct in regards to just executing. That's the military in me, you know, and being in sports my whole life as well. Just, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Get it done and move out. But I think just learning how to be flexible along the lines that Beth said, you know, learning to accept what you can't change and just riding the wave. And just being water with the business, because you can knock out things, you can knock out your whole task, but that doesn't mean the list is getting smaller. There's more things coming, and there's more quote unquote fires to put out, and there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of surprise. And I think once you come to grips with the fact that you don't know what you think you know, and you don't have a grasp on it as much as you think you do, and you're always keeping your mind open and being prepared to be taught a lesson one way or the other. I think that's one thing I've learned in Angier, and also just personnel management and people management. That's a bear. That's a lot. And you may have, like Beth said, we were in the military, so I was in charge of some people here and there, and I was, you know, an NCO and stuff like that. But yeah, that doesn't hold a candle to running a restaurant and managing the back of the house and the front of the house and everyone's individual stories and everyone's individual lives. And, you know, it's been a very, very humbling but educational experience out there.
Yeah, a very Bruce Lee-like mentality, be like water. So I
Yeah.
like that approach. I subscribe to that as well, so that being flexible in how you manage people and how you handle different situations. You know, one of the themes that I feel like we've had on this podcast is this idea of we say to a friend, hey, let's start a bar. And so I'm sure there's a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, buddies who are saying that to each other. So having done it, is there any words of wisdom that you might share with either an aspiring entrepreneur or somebody who maybe is passionate about, hey, I'd love to open up a bar, a restaurant, something that seems like it could be a good idea?
I actually had someone ask me this very same question last night at the restaurant. They're like, hey, do you own the place? And I'm like, yeah, well, actually called me like the operating partner. Like I'm in here, but I'm not the only one. He's like, well, what would you do? And I told him, I had to think about it a little bit myself. And then one of the things I told him was, it's not real until you write it down. Everyone has dreams, everyone has goals and aspirations, but until you write it down in great detail and brainstorm it and cause your brain to actually write and visualize what it is that you're trying to imagine, it's not real. You got to execute. But the only way you do that is by having a clear outlined approach about your steps. Of course, like we just said, be water. It's not going to go as planned all the time, but you have to, write your stuff down. And once you write it down, a lot of things get answered for you. So that's one of the first things I would say.
Really great advice. I will say, kind of piggybacking on that just a little bit, you know, for people who want to get into a business and write it down, there are great resources right here at Wake Tech where they will actually sit down with you and help you write a business plan. The other thing I would say is that every year the Fuquay Varina Chamber does a program called Launch, where aspiring entrepreneurs can come through a 10-week program, and it kind of culminates into like a capstone event and a weekend event where it ends with the presentation of your business idea. And so there are resources to do exactly what Delray just said right here in this community. And the other thing that I would say to add to that is, because I think that is some of the best advice to get started, but that you're not alone. There are a wealth of wonderful business resources in this community and business owners in this community. And I mean, even the two of you sitting here right now, we have talked about challenges in our business and, generating new ideas. And so I would say that this community, as well as Angier, are both incredibly welcoming. Take advantage of those relationships and let them, help you plant the seed and grow in those communities.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I just to piggyback on that one, just to add to that, in Angier, it's been phenomenal. We've been well received, and we've had so much reach out from the chamber there as well, and with the fire department, the police department, EMS. I mean, everyone from high schools to the mayor himself, comes in there and sits down. They have meals in our restaurant on a regular basis. Tons of engagement with the community, and it's been very, very well received. So I definitely want to give Andrew their credit for being so welcoming and so supportive during this past year.
Yeah, I think that idea of integrating into the community, like you highlighted, getting to know other owners, asking what their path and their journey has been like, only helps you learn a lot more quickly. And then creating a business plan and having all those pieces together helps entrepreneurs get off on the right foot. One of the other things that we're always interested to find out from businesses are there any local upcoming events, projects, things that you're excited about or that you're pushing out to the community, and we'd love for folks to share or to hear a little bit more about those. So any projects, events, community engagement, involvement types of things coming up for you all?
In Angier, we have, like I said, I kind of alluded to earlier with Campbell University and working with them. One of the things that we actually want to investigate, look into, is actually having their weekly radio show. Their radio show for their basketball team and their football team that held in our restaurant, Andrew. So that's something we're exploring the possibilities of. I think just I can't speak enough about our outside patio space. I'm so very, very, very proud of it.
That was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Getting that open.
It was a big deal.
Beth shared a couple times about that in our interactions. Yes.
Yeah, it's been a journey. So just getting that off the ground and helping that develop and figuring out what works and what doesn't work and how best to utilize the space. That's something that we're excited about, the future and what it can mean for the community of Angier, and having some large enough dedicated outside seating space for people to enjoy fresh air and quality food and service. So just our engagement with the high schools and the colleges, I think that's one of the things that we're focusing on as well. And we also have a new um, Jeep auto shop that just was opened up like pretty much down the road and around the corner from us. So we're excited about partnering up with them and having engagements and little events around our restaurant and having kind of a duo business relationship with them and having those little parades or whatever, or little events or Jeep shows and stuff like that, and helping each other out. So that's just one thing we're excited about, is just working with other businesses there.
So there's going to be ducks in your future, right? There's going to be ducks on the tables or something.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So, as someone who came out of the restaurant industry in a former life, I know you don't have a lot of time to go to other places because you're busy, right? And it's certainly busy with all of your all the stuff that you have going on. But are there some other local spots, local favorite businesses that you guys go to?
Oh, um, well, I will say, from time to time I go to Napper Tandy's. That's in Angier, specifically. That's what I'm talking about. And Robert, who's the owner of that place, he's been pretty supportive and helpful and insightful in offering advice. And this is she's shared quite a bit of information. But Napper Tandy's is pretty fun. Two Cousins Pizza, it's pretty great out there in Angier as well. So I go there and enjoy their pizza deals that they have for lunch and sometimes. So that's been great. Hmm.
For me, I would say my favorite place to start my day in Fuquay is probably Bolt. Great coffee, great energy drinks. The mornings it's Leon. Leon is Brad's. Brad is the owner. Brad and Stephanie own it, and Leon is Brad's mom, so she opens it every day. So I love to go in there and visit with her. And then I'm a big fan of Bentwin's because I like to golf. I'm not saying I golf well, but I do like to golf. And it's just a great little community out there, and they have great offerings at their clubhouse, and it's a nice time out there.
And Bentwin's is very supportive of the Chamber of
Yes.
Commerce as well as other things in the community. And we were just there the other day. They do
Yes.
They do some great stuff. So, what is the best business advice that you've ever received? I mean, you laugh about that because there's there's all these nuggets,
Oh, yeah.
But can you name one or two, maybe?
Oh,
The two that come to mind, the first one that has really stuck with me. I was in a business training of some sort. I don't even remember what it was in particular, but I kept saying, as I was talking through my business strategy, I hope, I hope, I hope. And the instructor finally stopped me and she said, if you take nothing else away from this, I want you to remember hope is not a strategy. And I was like, oh, wow. I didn't realize that I said that and how it comes across as not very confident. And so just remembering hope is not a strategy and being really confident in the things that you say. So if I start to say, well, I hope, I'll say, nope, you know what? I know that, this is going to be successful. So that's the first thing. And the other thing I would say is that your mental health is more important than your career will ever be. So remember to take care of yourself.
wow. I mean, spot on. That's great advice. I think so far in my brief journey that I've been on with this and being a business owner and learning how to do that, I think I couldn't pick one specific thing, but I would say Mike gave me a book a while back to read, and it was for some reason I can't recall the author right now, but the book was called Good to Great, and it's a fantastic book, and it's been eye-opening and insightful for me as far as the steps and things that separate good companies from great companies, and how the companies with similar environments, similar information, similar products, one company will excel and one company will just die on the vine. And reading that book a lot. There's been a lot of nuggets that I've already applied to my life and how I approach Wingin It and Angier. But definitely the one that stands out is getting good people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. That's been a big deal. And when I say wrong people, I'm not necessarily saying wrong people, just probably not people that fit the brand or fit our identity. And not to say you won't thrive somewhere else and be successful, it just doesn't really play out well with us there. But getting the right people on the bus has been a huge aspect for me in Angier, because my team out there, they're so phenomenal. And when you get the right people on the bus, you don't really have to manage the people. They just pretty much manage themselves. You just manage the systems that you guys build together. So, and people tend to float and gravitate towards the seat on the bus that best fits their ability and their skill set. If you give them the opportunity to be engaging into the business, and you don't necessarily have to run it with an iron fist and this is how it's going to be, give people a sense of ownership into the business and into the restaurant, and help them feel like it's their own. Like, this is a representation of also you as well as myself or the kitchen. And with that being said, I think that's probably been some of the best advice I've received from that book so far, is just personnel and the people. People, that's what matters the most.
Yeah, you're only as good as the people around you, and that is a huge thing.
100%.
So, is there just a quick fact? Is there a quick fact about your business that is crazy or surprising, or would be to others?
Oh, I really don't think there's anything that would be super surprising in Angier.
I am very proud of the fact that we are 100% veteran owned.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great fact.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, we got one more for you. I always think as restaurant owners, it's fun to taste test and know your own menus and your own food. So what would you say is your favorite item on your own menu that you would either recommend or that you go to?
Oh, that's easy. It's the hot raspberry wings. That sauce is just otherworldly. It's so delicious. It's great in so many different ways. It's sweet, tangy, spicy, all the perfect elements. I think that on a set of 12 wings without fries or the tots. Actually, I take that back.
We got the whole menu right.
Our broccoli is fantastic.
Our broccoli is good.
Yeah, so I think I'll have that with the broccoli. But hot raspberry wings, if you haven't tried it, I would definitely try that. It may not sound like something that necessarily piques your interest, but trust me, it's worth the try.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And our broccoli is like next level. It's so good.
It really is.
It's the garlic parm they put on it that, takes a little bit of the nutritional value, but it's so good. And for me, it is it's the awesome sauce. Awesome sauce on any of our chicken is incredible. And that was actually my creation. And it's a combination of our traditional and our garlic parm, all put together. And that's why you see, if I have posted something on our social media, it'll be #tagged awesome sauce, so that was me.
People might not have realized that that's a true,
That's an
actual
awesome
ingredient. They
sauce.
just think like, oh, it's a saying. Like, it's just awesome sauce. No, it's an actual
it's real.
flavor you can put on.
It's
and
really
it's,
awesome sauce.
And it's delicious. I love those options. Like I said, we're there Thursday nights, and I think the Chipotle chicken club wrap is actually
that's a good one,
fantastic.
too.
And then you can drop whatever sauce you want on there. So all the food is good over there. You mentioned that you can never promote or advertise enough. So for folks out there who are interested to get connected, learn more about you, or even just come visit, what's the best way for them to either learn more about you or to come out and try out some food?
Yeah, winginitbarandgrill.com. And when you land there, you can hit our Angier or our Fuquay location. And we have Instagram and Facebook for both of our locations. So check us out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, want to say thank you all so much for being a guest on today's podcast and sharing a little bit more about Wingin It, both in Fuquay and in Angier.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being here. Don't really talk about it too much, but thank you for having us.
Yeah, and so this has been the Better Together podcast today, joined by Beth from the Wingin It here in Fuquay and Delray from the Wingin It down in Angier. So super excited to have them on the podcast for today.
And thank you to our listeners. Join us each week on the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce as we highlight great local businesses. From the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescue Wood Rehab, I am Marty.
And I'm Brad.
And we are Better Together.
We're better together. It's a weekly podcast. We're better together. You should know that there's more in the dash. We're better together. Fuquay Varina, Chamber of Commerce. We're better together podcast.